If you were to ask me, I would say Halle Berry is known for three things. Number one, being exceptionally beautiful.
Oh.
Two, being an exceptionally talented actress.
He's right, you know.
And three, being absolutely terrible in relationships.
Damn.
If we were to go over every relationship that we know about with Halle Berry, it would literally take us so long that Jesus himself might get off the cross and make me stop.
Got him.
And not only has Halle Berry dated black men, her most tumultuous relationships have come at the hands of white men. There was Olivier Martinez, there was John Ronan, there was Gabriel Aubrey, and with two of the men, she had children. And the stunning thing about this is, despite the fact that Halle Berry is exceptionally beautiful, she's always dated men, for the most part, and she has gotten older, that make significantly less money than her. Which brought criticism to Halle Berry's romantic choices, which she would one day address.
I've heard people say, something must be wrong with Halle Berry. She can't keep a man. Who's to say I want to keep a man? I don't want to keep the wrong man. Like, I'm not crazy. No. Right? No.
Woo! And then she would come out and say this.
I was always saying to the universe what I didn't want. So guess what I did? I manifested what I didn't want. Yeah. So I really had to change my thinking. And instead of thinking of what I didn't want, I had to get intentional with what I did want. What was my perfect partner? What would he be like, feel like? What walk of life would he come from? Who would he be? How would he treat me? I got very granular with it. And then he showed up.
Now, Halle Berry said that after all of the mistakes, she focused and manifested for her boyfriend, and the right guy came, who happened to be another man who makes less money than her and who's younger than her, a legendary guitar player by the name of Van Hunt. But again, I wanted to go into the nitty gritty of all of this because it just doesn't make sense. You mean to tell me that she sat there thinking about the kind of man that she wanted and he just came? Well, doesn't make sense because it's hard for people to break their habits. As it seems, Halle Berry, as she got older, she started dating men that made less money. She went from David Justice to Eric Benet to guys who were just the bottom of the barrel when it came to earning money. So much so that she was investing and spending money on these men. And even though she's with Van Hunt, things just don't really seem right. It seems like Halle Berry is on this tour trying to make everybody feel like this choice that she has right now has been the best choice of her life.
No more jackhammer sex. Never felt
we
good.
were afraid to say, we had to get there so that he felt good about bringing us to orgasm. So we had to say that we did it so that he would feel good about himself. Because what is that doing? Right. That's putting his needs before our own.
Yeah.
And now I don't do that anymore. I'm like, no, I come first like you come first to you.
Yeah.
We both deserve to have this be a mutually enjoyable experience so we both can roll over and go to sleep because we feel good. Not one snoring and one looking at us.
Exactly. What the hell
am I doing?
Now, this booty clapping admission that she has, it's kind of like moving the goalposts. All of a sudden, this is the man that you've always wanted. And it took you all of these guys to get there. In my honest opinion, a guy like Van Hunt would have always been available to Halle Berry. But she just didn't want a guy like that. Because what Halle Berry mostly wanted was a white guy. So much so that she was willing to pay for it. But see, there was just certain problems here.
A woman literally starts paying for a grown man. And I just talked about this on my other channel. She's depleting herself of her feminine energy. So if you ever realize, a woman who pays for stuff, even if it's 50-50 or the whole, set of bills, and a grown man lives in the house, she is pouring her feminine energy into a masculine cause or a masculine man. And therefore she's going to be depleted of it. And when she's depleted of her feminine energy, a man is going to go look elsewhere for more feminine energy because now you have none, because now you're a man providing.
I rarely agree with Sheer 7, but I'm going to be honest. This is on point behavior. You see, because if you're a woman and you're really valuable and you're beautiful as Halle Berry, in theory, some man should come and pay for you. But when you have an attitude problem and you just don't care about anybody else, you're only caring about yourself. Yeah, you're not going to get the kind of man that you want to stay because David Justice left her. I think Eric Benet also may have left her. I'm not sure. But David Justice, I know for a fact. And the reality is she just couldn't find men that would put up with her. Now, she's trying to make it seem like everything is okay now and she's having the best XEX of your life. But no, that's really not the case. The fact is the guys that she don't want her.
Woo!
And I got other proof.
These sisters are out here paying these white guys child support and spousal support. Name one time when you've ever seen a white woman pay a black man spousal support or child support. I'll wait. I got all day.
But wait, there's more.
This is something that we don't see, right? Halle Berry ordered to pay Gabriel Aubrey $16,000 a month in child support for their daughter Nala. The talks Aisha Tyler to pay husband $2 million in spousal support, according to court documents.
The fact that Halle Berry is extremely beautiful and you have white men who make less money than you putting you on child support tells me everything I need to know about you. It tells me a few things. Number one, you're extremely selfish. And we know that because look at all of the relationships that she has. A person who really respects her relationship with her mate is going to know how to have problem solving skills. And clearly Halle Berry does not. Her relationships typically don't last any more than 3 or 4 years. And the reason why that is because it's simple. It's her way or the highway. And that works pretty good when you're still young and you're still beautiful. But once you get past the age of 35, 40, and 45, men probably don't want to put up with you as much. And it doesn't mean that they don't want to, because she still is good looking even at age 59. It just means that why deal with you when you're 40 having problems when I can deal with somebody that's like 25 or 26 having problems? Woo! And this is exactly what happened to Halle Berry. All of the guys that she wanted, they were no longer reachable. So she had to start paying for the D. And not just any D. Broke, white D.
Damn.
And now she's out here talking about how good Van Hunt is and how much she's enjoying him. And he may actually love her. But let's just be honest. It's not like Van Hunt is so financially successful and has so many other opportunities that he can deal with somebody better than Halle Berry. In fact, I would argue that Van Hunt is in the same situation that she's in. And he might be one of those guys who's always thought that, you know, Halle Berry was beautiful. She was fine. I mean, the same thing happened with Russell Wilson and Sierra. If you think about it, Sierra was like a single mom. And the only reason, in my honest opinion, she got with like Russell Wilson is because he was always her fan. He was always her fan. And he's probably one of those guys like, look, if I ever got a chance to date Sierra, I would marry her. And guess what? He married her. It could be the same thing about Van Jones. He's infatuated with her. He would do anything he can to stay with her. He will deal with her problems. But the real reason why Halle Berry could never maintain a man that was quite like her on her level is this.
Ladies, you can't expect to be attracting high value men or men of quality if your life is all over the place. You need to do the inner work before you can start attracting the men that you want. Having the specific lifestyle of being disciplined, accountable, being a high value woman, the consequence of all that is honestly attracting men left and right. Why? Because we put ourselves in a position to do so.
Halle Berry was never focused enough, never serious enough, and didn't have the right mentality or the accountability to get a man on her financial level. And guess what? She still hasn't. Woo! She's now 59 years old, dealing with a man younger than her with no financial leverage, at least in the same level that she is. In other words, Halle Berry has settled for less. She's trying to dress it up as if she hasn't, as if she wanted a man like this. But I can guarantee you, if Halle Berry was 24 years old, she wouldn't give Van Hunt any time of the day. If she was 30, he wouldn't get time of day. If she was 35, he wouldn't get time of day. Some guy who was white, who didn't have very much, would get the time of the day. And so what happens for many men, once women get to a certain level in their life, you can easily become their second, third, fourth, or fifth choice. And, you know, it's nothing wrong with being somebody's third, fourth, or fifth choice, typically, especially if it can work out. I mean, we see it all the time in the NFL draft, where a player is taken third or fourth in the NFL draft, and they can turn out to be first round talent. I mean, it even happened for us with the 49ers. We took Brock Purdy in the 2022 draft. He was the last guy to get picked in the entire draft, and he ended up being a franchise quarterback. So yes, if you can prove that you're valuable over time, it matters. It typically doesn't matter to women, though. Women typically despise their second, third, or fourth choice. They would rather have their first choice. Now, over time, they may appreciate it. Typically, they may have a problem with it. And when Halle Berry is trying to dress this up as if her life and I'm finally getting the sex that I want, pretty much putting down the previous mates in which she's paying child support for. Woo! It just doesn't sound realistic. What it's giving to me is that you could never appeal to the kind of man that you wanted. You were too selfish. The guys just passed you by. You got to a situation where you're 59 and a lot of the guys your age are not dealing in that same age range, and they just found somebody better. And unfortunately, this is the reality for a lot more women than they think. You're going to see a lot more ladies in a relationship with the man that they're forced to be with and trying to say, I'm finally with the guy that I wanted. He came to me. I didn't do anything. Now, see, stop the show. There's a problem fundamentally with women who use that verbiage. Like, the man that came to you out of nowhere. This is crazy because Halle Berry was from Cleveland, Ohio. All right. There was no way that she could get into the industry in Cleveland, Ohio. Actually, in 1989, she moved to New York City to pursue her acting ambitions. She basically ran out of money and lived in the homeless shelter at the YMCA because she wanted something better in her life. Now, she can do this when it came to her own personal endeavors, but when it came to the man that she wanted, he had to come. This is ridiculous behavior. No one just comes into your life because you want them to. Everything that you are doing, you have to be on the right path. And the reality is this guy came in her life. He's safe, probably at 59 years old. She doesn't want to get married again. He's there. He will deal with her. She doesn't have to change who she is because she won't. And she finally found a guy that's silly enough to accept her for who she is. That's the reality of it all. And this is what's going to happen for a lot of ladies out there that don't get what they want. They're going to have to go this route. And that's okay. Just say that. Don't put the other guys down that you were clapping cheeks with and having babies with and saying like, oh, I don't have to fake it with them anymore because I have this dude who I make more money than who is clapping my cheeks now. It just doesn't make sense. Woo! So guys, what do you think? It's your boy Oshay Duke Jackson back out again. Another episode of Celebrity Drunk. I put you for all you just heard the bell. We're out.